Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today we are cooking oven-baked chicken risotto. Here's what we need, and it will serve four. Now this is another one of those examples of a dish where if you've got something that you can take from stovetop into the oven, that's really good. I don't have one of those they're called flame-proof casserole dish for that reason. They can go from stovetop into the oven. As I don't have one of those, unfortunately, I'm going to create myself a little bit of washing up by starting it in a saucepan and then moving it into a really large baking dish, which will go in the oven. So I'm still going to get that same deal, but I've just got to go from one hot dish into a cold dish into the oven. So anyway, this is what we're going to need, which I'll talk you through in a moment. So you're also going to need your flame-proof casserole dish or large baking tray and saucepan, plus a frying pan for when we do the chicken, which I'll go through in a moment, a couple of stirring sticks, and oven on 180 or 160 fan forced. So come on in, I'll talk you through the rest of the ingredients. I'm still in the middle of sort of getting things ready. I was supposed to do this Monday night, but I crashed. So I've just actually partially cooked the chicken breast because I didn't want it going off. You will also need 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 large brown onion chopped, 1 garlic clove crushed, that's about to be crushed, 1.5 cups of arborio rice, 3 cups of salt reduced chicken stock. It's not salt reduced, but that is chicken stock there. Oh, actually, no, it's low in sodium. That means salt reduced. Duh. 800 grams of butternut pumpkin cut into 2 centimeter cubes. Now, when I brought it last week, I brought 2 lots. So there's this lot and there's what was left from the previous episode. So I'm just putting more pumpkin in it. So it may serve a few more people. We'll see how we go. The 2 chicken breast fillets, which I showed you. A cup of frozen peas. Baby rocket and shaved parmesan to serve. Now, I've had this rocket in the freezer for a while, but it still looks okay, which is just goes to show, don't throw stuff out, freeze it, because this is perfect. It's going on top of a hot dish. It's going to wilt anyway, so it's all good. All right, so I'm sort of getting ready as I go because I'm up early to do this before I go to work, so it's going to be a very long day. All right, so our first step was put the oven on 180 or 160 fan forced, and we're going to heat 1 tablespoon of the olive oil in that large flame-proof, oven-proof dish, or as I said, your saucepan. So let's get into that, and we're going to add the onion and the garlic. Let's go. Now, for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know that to save myself a bit of time with the washing up, I like to spray things. Olive oil does its job, but this sort of does it better. So we're going to crank the heat up to high and pop in a tablespoon. Now I'm using a 1/2 tablespoon for the mere fact that it's 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm not going to get a 1 tablespoon and then a 1/2 tablespoon out. More washing up. All right, let's bring over that onion and that garlic and a stirring stick. Okay, so in goes our onion. Just drop my garlic cloves out of my crusher. That'll be right. In goes our garlic. All right. Okay. Let's get that through. Okay. So we're going to cook that for a few minutes. Give it a stir. All right, now while that's going on, I'm going to keep watching with the eyes in the back of my head. So I'm just using my big oven-proof dish for when I'm ready to transfer it. So I'll give that a spray now. So while that's going on, I've still got other things to measure up. So let's go. With this recipe, when you read through your recipe, you always learn something new. It is 3 cups of stock, which is up to there, and 1 cup of water. So you're basically adding a litre. So I'm going to get all this ready now, because I've still got the pumpkin to chop up as well. So I'm going to get the water and the stock ready next, because I've got a little bit of time before I need the next things. So let's get the water ready for the stock. So when you use this stock powder, it is 1 teaspoon per 1 cup. So we're going to need 3 teaspoons to go in with that, and then we give that a good stir. Just keep an eye on your onion and garlic, so you can turn it down if you wish, which is probably a good idea if you're using the eyes in the back of your head. I don't normally like to cook like this. I like to have everything ready, but under the sort of trying to hurry scheme, it doesn't always work. Now, the chicken stock powder has gone like a rock, so I'm going to have to actually try and break it up with a bit of a knife thing. I normally do like buying that pre-made stock, but the problem is I don't like buying it unless I know I'm using the whole lot. Now, under the circumstances of this, I'm technically using a litre of liquid, so I could have used that. It would have just given it more of a chicken flavour to it. You know what? That's good enough. All right. Try and mix it up if you can, but the problem is it probably won't really want to dissolve until it's under heat. Okay. That's good enough. I'm just going to set that aside because that is the next thing going in. Okay. After that, we're going to be adding the pumpkin. Oh no, we're adding the rice next before we add the water. There you go. I have not read my recipe. Or I've read it a couple of times and I haven't absorbed it. All right, so we need 1.5 cups of rice. These measuring jugs are good until you can't read them. All right, so we're going up to there. Hopefully I don't have to open the new one today. I do have to open the new one today. And for you that don't know, or you've gone through my little catalogue and you're going, she cooks a lot of risotto. For me, risotto sort of is a good 1-pot dish technically, because you're using everything. You've got your meat if you're having a meat in it. You've got rice. And it freezes really well, which is good. I'm just going to tip this into the jar. These packs are great because they come with this resealable thing. There is another rice risotto dish coming up later. It is part of my Italian cookbook quite a bit too, which is why I have been doing a lot of rice. Just going to go give this a quick stir. All right. Now we're going to need a jug or a bowl to put the pumpkin in. I think I'll grab a large bowl. Grab a chopping board and a knife. And we've just got to cut the pumpkin up. I think it said into smaller cubes. I can't remember. 2 centimetre cubes. You don't have to measure it. Just be fairly accurate. Now, as I said, I've got extra, but I'm going to put extra in it anyway. And then the only other thing I've got to measure out is the peas. So I'm not doing too bad. So cook 3 minutes or until softened. So with your pumpkin, just peel it, obviously. Any bad bits, get them off. And then straight into our bowl. All right, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, let's go and add the rice. So in goes our rice. Just give it a bit of a stir to coat it. All right. Now we're going to wait about a minute, I think it was. Cook stirring for a minute, add stock and 1 cup of cold water, bring to the boil and add the pumpkin. Okay. We'll just put the water in it now. We're going to bring it to the boil. We can do this slow because I'm still working on the pumpkin. All right. So I'm going to keep that on a low heat only because I'm still cutting up the pumpkin. So once that comes to the boil, then we add the pumpkin. So just keep it on a low heat and stir it occasionally while we're getting our pumpkin ready. Once it's all done, it's going in this oven tray anyway. At this point in time, this would be where you would have been cooking the chicken. But we're popping the pumpkin into this serving dish rather than putting it into the saucepan and then bringing it over. It's just as easy to do it this way. Then once this comes to the boil, just keep stirring it occasionally. We are going to pop the rice mixture over the top of the pumpkin and get it ready to go in the oven. A little bit longer and then we're ready to roll. So your chicken, once that's cooked, set that aside and we'll be ready to cut that up shortly because we'll need that at the end. Final stirs, almost ready. It's nearly boiling. Okay, so now get your dish ready. Be careful, it'll be hot. We're just going straight over the top of the pumpkin because that's so much easier. Make sure you get it all out and it will find its own happy spot while it's in the oven. So after 25 minutes on 160, it's still got liquid, so it needs longer. I'm going to crank it up to 180 and put it in for another 10 minutes. So I'll check back then, because we need not much liquid in it, and we need the rice to be tender and the pumpkin to be tender. So we're pretty much nearly there, but we've still got quite a bit of stock left in here, and we don't want that left in there. So we'll be back. I've just cut the chicken up, and because I hadn't fully cooked it through yesterday, it is still pink a little bit. So I'm going to sit it on top of the risotto. Now, normally what you would be doing at this stage is you would be cooking the chicken and making sure it's cooked through. But as I said, I had to do an emergency, make sure I don't ruin the chicken thing yesterday. As you can see, it's still pink in some parts. So my perfect way to finish this off is going to be cooking it in this. So it sort of really does now make it a one pot dish. So the chicken, you just add your half a tablespoon of olive oil that's left over to the frying pan, and you cook that. Make sure it's cooked through, and then you cut it up into slices, and you're going to serve it with the risotto. But in my case, I'm cooking the rest of it. And then that way I know it's going to be cooked through. So see you soon. So I did give it an extra 5 minutes, which just goes to prove that today my oven wasn't working like a fan-forced oven. So all we need to do now is just put the peas on top. We're going to cover it and give it 2 minutes. And then what we do is we put the rocket on top. Now, because the rocket has been in the freezer, I'm going to put the rocket over it now anyway. I think it's still okay. Yeah, it'll be fine. Cover it for 2 minutes. Now, because some of mine's going in the freezer anyway, it probably wouldn't hurt for me to have my chicken underdone. But if you're eating it, make sure that everything is all good. All right, cover it 2 minutes, peel back the cover, take the cover off, whatever's going, and enjoy. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been oven-baked chicken risotto. Catch you on the next one.